22 for another first down, and the clock continues to tick away. First and 10 on the 22. 50 seconds remain. Graham passing to Bumgardner. Can Rex get it? He's out there. He's got it. Out of bounds at about the 11. The clock stops again. 45 seconds left. Here's Otto Graham trying to set up a field goal. Possibility moving the ball in the sneak. Less than 30 seconds remaining. Browns on the 16-yard line. Tommy James kneeling on the 16. The wind is blowing. It's cold. Here's the pass from center. James putting it down. Groza boots it. It's up in the air. It's heading towards the goalpost, and it is good. And the Browns lead now 30-28 with 20 seconds left.
The thrilling 1950 NFL Championship is the theme of our show this week on The Way It Was. Hi, I'm Kurt Gowdy. Welcome to our series of American Sports Classics. Today we're going to relive one of the great sporting events of all time, the 1950 NFL Championship game between the Cleveland Browns and the Los Angeles Rams. The team leader, the quarterback, Hall of Famer, automatic Otto Graham. An all-pro end who caught more passes for more yardage than anyone in NFL Championship play, Donnie Lavelli. An all-pro tackle, the greatest place kicker in NFL history, also a Hall of Famer, Lou the Toe Groza. And now for the National Conference champs, the Los Angeles Rams, all-pro end whose broken field runs at the University of Wisconsin and in the pro game earned him the title Crazy Legs. He's a Hall of Famer too, Elroy Hirsch. The greatest all-around athlete in the history of West Point, a Heisman Trophy winner, Mr. Outside Glenn Davis. And the Rams' great triple threat quarterback, another Hall of Famer, Bob Waterfield. And the sportscaster who called the play-by-play for this great game to the nation on both radio and television, the voice of the Cleveland Browns, Bob Neal. Both radio and television.
Right, Kurt, we had a limited kind of network, and I think the fact that I had Paul Brown become the godfather of my oldest son didn't hurt it any.
I would think not. Is it true that Paul Brown used to make you carry a playbook around with you as the announcer for the team?
Right. The first year we went to training camp at Bowling Green, I had to go to the class sessions. I had to keep a playbook. I had to stay in as the players did. He rang a fire bell at 10 o'clock, and the lights were out for everybody, including the broadcaster, the writers, and that was the way it was.
All right, well, let's go to 1950, and you set the scene for this championship game and tell us the way it was.
Well, at the end of the regular season, both conferences ended in a tie, but in the American Conference playoff, the Browns beat the New York Giants 8-3.
8-3?
I remember that umbrella defense, and thanks to a last-minute field goal by the same Lou Groza. In the National Conference, the Rams had beaten the Bears 24-14 on Bob Waterfield's superb passing and Glenn Davis's great running. So it was that the Browns and the Rams met to face each other for the National Football League title.
The Rams, the champions of the National Football Conference, will have Tom Fears, Dick Huffman, Jack Finley, Art Statuto, Stevenson, and Reinhardt on the line. Elroy Hirsch playing right end, Waterfield at quarterback, Glenn Davis at left half, Vitamin T. Smith and Dick Horner. For the Browns, Max Speedy, Groza, Weldon Humble and Abe Gibran alternating at one guard, Frank Gatsky at center, Lynn Houston, Lou Rimkus, Donnie Lavelli, Otto Graham, Rex Baumgartner, Dub Jones, and Marion Motley. A confrontation of the Rams and the Cleveland Browns on a field that's slippery to say the least. The captain's out there visiting with referee Ron Gibbs, getting set up, a cold day, 27 degrees, and the Browns hoping that they can prove to their fans that when they took over the football scene in Cleveland, the Rams moved to Los Angeles, that it was no mistake. The Browns will be kicking it off, and here comes Lou Groza. Gets the boot away. It's a good one. Standing way back in the 5-yard line is number 77, Vitamin T. Smith. And here he comes, coming back out of the 10. He's on his way, moving out there. Browns in hot pursuit. Good blocks by the Rams. Vitamin T. Smith carries the ball out to the 18-yard line, 1st and 10. Number 7, Bob Waterfield, back to pass. Looking, gets it off, and it's in the air. Glenn Davis down along the sidelines, takes it on the 45. Davis down to the 40, at the 30. He may go all the way. Davis is going to go all the way, and in 27 seconds, the Rams have taken the lead 6-0. Elroy Hirsch holding. Waterfield boots, and it's now Los Angeles 7 and Cleveland nothing. Well, the Browns are somewhat concerned. This is the devastating Rams team, but here comes Otto Graham, number 60, passing on the side. Dub Jones along the sideline, first down in the Cleveland 42. Second down. Graham passing over the middle, looking, and hooks with Donnie Lavelli. Donnie brought down as he moves up to about the 47-yard line. Third down and 5. Here's Otto Graham with good protection. Lynn Houston the top with a good block. Motley with a good block, but Graham's going to have to run. Keeping the ball, running off to this side. And Otto fakes another throw, trying to hold and freeze the Ram defenders. Now Otto gains all the way down to the Rams' 31-yard line as he moves in and is finally brought down. It'll be first down and 10 for the Browns on Los Angeles' 31-yard line. Here's Otto Graham, good protection again. Looking for Dub Jones. There's the Dubber streaking for the end zone. He's got it, and he's in the snowbank. And the Browns are back on the scoreboard with 6 points. Lou Groza, automatic Lou, boots it, and it's now tied 7-7. The Rams take the kickoff, and Waterfield in 3 plays moves the Rams 58 yards to the Browns' 22. Here's Waterfield to Tom Fears, good for 5 yards. Second and 5 on the 18-yard line. Waterfield back now, looking for Tom Fears. Going to hand it off to Vitamin Smith. Vitamin Smith moving around left end, gets a good block. That's Jack Finley, number 58, clearing a path. He cuts back in. He's down to the 15, to the outside of the 10, down to the 5. He might go in, and they pull him out of bounds on the 2. First and goal from the 2. Here's Horner. Stop. No, he's loose again and into the end zone. Rams now lead once more, 13-7. Here's Waterfield with Hirsch holding, boots it, 14-7. The Rams are on top. Cleveland stops another Rams drive just before the end of the first quarter, and now back to action. The Brown with the ball's on the 37. There's Graham throwing for Speedy. Interference call, and it's the Browns' ball, first and 10 at the 50. Otto Graham running to his right, trying to get around, gets a few yards down to the 43, and that's as far as Otto's going to go. Second down and 3. Otto Graham, number 60, fading back again. Looking for, finds Max Speedy, number 58. Speedy with the catch. Good block by Lou Groza. And Max Speedy busting his way down. He's to the Los Angeles 26-yard line. So it's first and 10 for the Browns on the 26. Here's Otto Graham getting set up. Rams with a terrific rush. Otto's going to be thrown for a loss. Back 9 yards. It's at the 35. Here's Otto Graham, second and 19. Graham looking for Lavelli, cutting across. Donnie's going to go in, and he scores. And the Browns are back in the ball game, 14-13. Point after touchdown. High pass from center. Here's Tommy James running off to his right. Tommy looking, and there's Tony Adamle in the end zone. Throws it in there. Adamle's got it. No, he dropped it. And the score is the Rams 14, the Browns 13. 6. Waterfield looking, throwing to number 40, Elroy Hirsch on the 42-yard line. Crazy Legs, showing why they call him that, is being chased by half of the Browns. Finally brought down on the Cleveland 30-yard line. Browns defense been stingy all year. Now a critical play, third down. Waterfield running on his own. The Browns are going to stop him just shy of a first down. It's fourth down on the 16-yard field goal attempt now by the Rams. Hirsch holding, Waterfield booting, wind blowing, the ball's up in the air. It is going to be no good, off to the side. And the first half comes to an end. Rams 14, Browns 13.
Well, that's the end of the half, and Bob Waterfield, you and Glenn Davis hooked up for a record 82-yard pass play. Did you know if you received, Bob, you were going to do this play?
Well, we had some pretty good keys on the Brown pass defense, and they were keying on the way the fullback blocked, and we sort of thought we'd just go right off the bat. And, of course, with Glenn's great speed and fine hands, he ran right by the linebacker.
Nice way to start a game, Glenn.
Kurt, excuse me, Kurt, but the linebacker who missed that coverage wasn't there next year.
That's par for the course.
Those were the days of man-to-man, huh?
He wasn't there next year.
There weren't those sophisticated zones, right? You know, Otto, while we're talking to you, a lot of people know that You were a triple threat tailback at Northwestern, an All-American basketball player. I don't think too many people know that you played professional basketball.
I played 1 year and played fellows like George Glamick, Fuzzy Levine, Red Holzman, Chuck Connors, Bob Davies. We had a very fine basketball team.
Kurt, I'd have to inject here that when we went to our first training camp, Lou and I, that Otto used his basketball championship money to bring the only car to our training camp. Bob Neal remembers that, too.
That's right.
Well, is it true, Otto, that Paul Brown, out of your basketball ability, decided to make you a quarterback?
Well, I'm sure it helped me an awful lot because I hadn't had much training at it, but the moves are very, very similar, the spinning and so forth, that a basketball player does, so I'm sure that helped very much. I want to say one thing on this program. They talk about and ask who are the better football players, the better quarterbacks, this type of thing. I don't think you can ever say any one man is the best because a lot depends upon who you play with. In other words, no quarterback throws the ball very well if he's lying flat on his back. The fellows in front have to block. You have to get fellows like Elroy and Dante to get open, and Glenn. But I personally think that Bob Waterfield was the best all-around quarterback I ever saw because how many quarterbacks kicked field goals as well as Lou Groza, punted as well as Horace Gillum, called his own plays, threw the ball, all the ball handling. In other words, he did everything, and quite honestly, I think he's probably the best all-around quarterback that ever played the game.
And Glenn, you say you played safety on defense?
That's right.
Covered Don Hudson his first year, man for man.
Thank you very much.
That's quite a tribute.
I mean it.
Kurt, I have to tell you, when I saw Waterfield, I came off the boat in New York from overseas, and we got in a tree with our Army uniform.
I thought you were an immigrant. No.
Thanks a lot.
Municipal Stadium, for the second half, the Rams receive, they don't move the ball, and they punt to the Browns' 23.
First and 10 on the Browns' 23. Otto Graham pitching to Marion Motley, the big 245-pound fullback. Coming to this side, gets a good block, and Motley goes out of bounds on about the 35. Second and 5. Here's Otto Graham. Graham looking out on the left flat, throws to Horace Gillum. Gillum in place of injured Max Speedy, really taking off and streaking down the field. And Horace Gillum sets the Browns up in good shape about the Rams' 44. Second and 5 in the 39. Otto Graham looking now, spots Labelli. There's Donnie streaking down the field. He's got it, and he's going to score. Donnie Labelli puts the Browns back in the lead, 19-14. Lou Groza in with Tommy James holding. Ball is set down. It's booted. It's up in the air. It's good. And it's Cleveland 20, the Rams 14. Rams take the next kickoff. Quickly march to the Browns 17. First and 10. Dick Horner picks up 8 yards for Cleveland 9. On third down, a foot to go. Here's Dick Horner running over the middle of the 5. The Browns dig in, faced with a third down and 4 to go on the touchdown. Here's Dick Horner on the famed fly toss series. There's the ball pitched out to him, and he's stopped on the Browns' 1-foot line. Fourth down and a foot to go. And Dick Horner, who's carried the ball 6 successive times, lines up again. He's going to carry it for the 7th time right up the middle, and he's going to score as he moves in. And the Rams, with Bob Waterfield kicking the extra point, now lead 21-20. Browns trying to come right back in this game. The fans on their feet. Browns ball first and 10, their own 20. Marion Motley, the old bread and butter kid himself, moving out to the left. Comes to this sideline. It's a little slippery. Tries to reverse himself now, being hemmed in by the Rams. Trying to go the other way. Bellies around to the side. He is really being covered. He fumbles the ball, and it's picked up in there, and it's Larry Brink, and he's going to go in for a touchdown. 2 touchdowns within 1 minute, and the Rams have taken the lead 27-20. Waterfield makes it 28, and the Cleveland fans are a little discouraged. Cleveland's ball now, second down on their own 47. And the Browns now faced with an insurmountable task. Otto Graham throwing to Labelli, pushed out of bounds on his own 46-yard line. Third down on the 46. Otto Graham being encouraged by his teammates. Third down on the 46. Otto throwing to Labelli. Good for 3 more yards, but a first down. The drive continuing to move. Here's Graham going back to the 40, trying to get out of the way. He's run very well this afternoon. Running off to his left. Down a little more, and finally hit and stopped as he gets to the 32. After a 7-yard loss, here's Graham looking again. Throwing now, number 90, Rex Bumgardner makes the catch. Ball on the 34. Otto Graham looking, trying to spot his receiver. There's Lavelli, and Lavelli makes the catch. And Donnie sets a new championship record, catching his 11th pass of the ball game. First down, Browns and the Rams 26. Graham running around the left side, faking the throw, still streaking for the sideline. Moves the ball, bumped out of bounds on the 19-yard line. 2nd and 3 from the 19. Here are the Browns moving down there. Marion Motley on the bread and butter trap. Down with a 5-yard run to about the 14-yard line. It's first down and 10. Otto Graham and the Browns trying to come back in this game. Here's Otto looking. There's Rex Bumgardner. All by himself. He's got it. And a touchdown just inside the end zone. Lou Groza coming in for, again, a very important boot. There's Tommy James. It's booted. It's up in the air. The Browns are back in, but the Rams still lead 28-27. On their own 30, Waterfield looking for some running room, trying to find Glenn Davis. There's Davis going outside. Davis trying to pick up some yardage. He's forced out of bounds finally on the 24. It's Horner now trying to go for a first down. Dick Horner, big man. Tommy Thompson, the linebacker, hits him number 36 and stops him short of the first down. It's 4th down. Here's Waterfield punting. High booming kick. Cliff Lewis back there waiting for it. The rivet, they used to call him. Racing after it, picks it up. Cliff Lewis, who was a quarterback wearing number 62. He's going to be brought down on the 16, and we have 8 minutes left to play. The Rams lead by 1. 2 incomplete passes. Now Graham goes back to pass 3rd and 10. To Dub Jones. Incomplete. 4th and 10. Horace Gillum will go back in punt formation. Gillum, big foot, gets it in there. It's a high spiral. Drifting back is Glenn Davis. Davis cops the ball, racing back for it. Browns moving in on him, picks the ball up, and he's down. Gets away from one man to the 10, still at his feet. Glenn Davis, the great outside runner, to the 20-yard line. Rams ball, 1st and 10. Here's Bob Waterfield, number 7, passing to Elroy Hirsch. Hirsch taking the ball to the 25. Look at Elroy with those great moves of his. Browns moving in to gang tackle and bring him down. 5 minutes left in the game. Rams with the ball. 1st and 10 on the 37. Waterfield throwing. Ball's bobbled. Tommy Thompson grabs it. It's intercepted by the Browns. Tommy Thompson has the ball at the 46. 4.5 minutes in the game. Ball in the 46. Graham to Dub Jones on the Rams 40. Here's Dub scooting around. Gets down to the 35. Caught at the 33 and down on the 32. 1st and 10 Cleveland. Graham going back to pass. Runs up the middle. Here's Jerry Williams banging into him. He fumbles the ball. Who's got it? The Rams have got it. And a great break for Los Angeles. Ball recovered by the Rams Sheriff Lazatich, the captain. The Cleveland drive halted less than 3 minutes to play. Score Rams 28, Browns 27.
Well, Otto, you had a 1-point lead. You fumbled the ball away. You go to the bench. Anybody say anything to you?
I wanted to crawl into a hole, frankly, but on the sideline, Paul Brown actually put his arm in my shoulder and said, "Don't worry, Otts, we're still going to beat them." And about that time, I felt the world had come to an end. And Paul Brown doesn't usually do this type of thing.
Bob, on that drive, when you went ahead 21-20, you used Horning 7 times in a row. Why were you running him that much?
Well, Dick was a big, strong boy, and I think everybody expected Glenn to run the ball or throw to Elroy or Fears or somebody like that. So I just stayed with him. He was running very well, so why not stay with a good thing?
We keep hearing the name of Bob Neal describing this game, Lavelli, Lavelli, Lavelli. Where was Max Speedy this day, Otto?
He was there. But, of course, Dante always hollered louder. In fact, I was talking to one of the Rams, Mr. Burrows, Don Burrows, and he said he used to get mad at Dante because he would go downfield and holler, "Otto, Otto, Otto, Otto." And I'll tell you quite honestly, many, many times when you're scrambling back there as a quarterback, Bob knows this very well. You have to run around back there, and you're not sure where those receivers are. Well, I never had any trouble finding Dante because he could holler so loud you'd hear him in the next county somewhere.
With 3 minutes remaining to play, the Cleveland fans are starting to file out of Municipal Stadium. Doesn't look too good, does it? The Rams ball.
No, it doesn't, Kurt. It's the Rams ball, 1st and 10 on their own 24, I think it was, and they were leading 28-27. Time was starting to run out, and we really had to go to bat.
Well, let's see what happened.
The Rams are unable to move the ball after 3 downs are forced to kick. There's Waterfield getting off a boomer. Cliff Lewis waiting for the ball. The clock is a very important issue now. Cliff Lewis taking it, heading for the sideline. Trying to get out of bounds if he can, and he's out of bounds on the 32-yard line. 1 minute, 45 seconds remaining. First and 10 from the 32. Graham running to the right side. Otto gets away from a couple of guys, and here he comes. He's going to race all the way up to the 45, 46-yard line. First and 10 from the 46. A minute, 30 seconds left. Otto Graham looks for Rex Bumgardner. He's got it on the sidelines and out of bounds in the Rams 39. Stopping the clock again. First and 10 from the 39. Graham to Dub Jones. Down to the Rams 22 for another first down. And the clock continues to tick away. First and 10 on the 22. 50 seconds remain. Graham passing to Bumgardner. Can Rex get it? He's out there. He's got it. Out of bounds at about the 11. The clock stops again. 45 seconds left. Here's Otto Graham trying to set up a field goal. Possibility moving the ball in the sneak. Less than 30 seconds remaining. Browns on the 16-yard line. Tommy James kneeling on the 16. The wind is blowing. It's cold. Here's the pass from center. James putting it down. Groza boots it. It's up in the air. It's heading towards the goalpost, and it is good. And the Browns lead now 30-28 with 20 seconds left. Stadium really going wild. It may not be jammed with people, but the excitement really mounts. The Browns leading by 2. Less than 20 seconds remaining. Here's Groza with a kickoff. Ball up in the air. Jerry Williams waiting way back on the Rams 12. Here he comes, busting loose. Jerry Williams trying to go all the way. Brown's trying to get to him. He's getting away. He's being chased back on his feet, still rolling. And he's going to go all the way to the Rams 47. 7 seconds left on the clock. Norm Van Brocklin coming into the game at quarterback for the Rams. Time remaining 7 seconds. There's Van Brocklin back to pass. Looking for Glenn Davis down along the sideline. Davis back there, but Warren Lahr intercepts. And Davis and Lahr go into the end zone. The clock runs out. The game is over. The Browns have won it 30-28. And in 4 years, the Cleveland Browns, the darlings of the All-America Football Conference, are the champions of all professional football. Well, this has to be one of the greatest games ever played in professional football's history.
Well, Lou the Toe, you kicked a lot of important field goals in your career. How would you rate this one?
Well, this was by far the top one, Kurt. You know, we started the All-American Conference, and the NFL was the senior league, and they used to tell us that we were in the minor leagues all the time, so we had a lot to prove, and when it came down to the very end and we won it by the basis of a field goal, it really saved a lot of the pride that we had developed over the year, and of course we felt we could play with the big boys. And
I got to say something on Lou here. Yeah, when he first came in the league, you know, he had this big show, this big hulk. You know, he was the finest field goal kicker I'd ever seen. You know, and he was just a kid, so to speak, and very new in pro football. Remember, he had the tape they used to lay down.
Yeah,
the holder would put the
measure
tape
out.
down, and he'd make this big show.
Right.
Of course, if they were going to fake it, you know, that helped. But he had this big tape, and Willie Wilkin, bless his soul, is a big tackle we had. Used to be with the Washington Redskins, and now he was with the Chicago Rockets on his way out after the service. And Lou's lining up for this field goal, and he's putting this tape down like this, and Willie called a huddle immediately, defensive huddle. We all thought, you know, he's got a plan to block it, you know. And we all go in there, and he says, instead of trying to block it, somebody go in and bend the tape.
Was that field goal good, Glenn? Some of the Rams thought the field goal was no good.
It was good.
Well,
Huh?
it was a liner, I'll say that.
It was a Cleveland
It went
good.
down in the books as good.
What about that final play? I think Van Brocklin had broken ribs, didn't he? When they brought him in and he threw the long bomb and Lahr intercept, and you pushed him in the end zone, or he ran in the end zone?
No, he was trying to get away, see? And
Yeah.
so I just chased him on, and
So
when he
you-
got to the end
You
zone,
think
I
it should have
tied
been a safety?
Certainly.
And a
Glenn,
tie
how
game,
can you
30
say that?
It was a safety.
It was a
But in
safety.
Cleveland, how could you get a call?
Kurt, I have played golf with Glenn Davis many, many times.
You played golf with
He
the referee,
is probably
too.
known as a golf hustler. So consequently, he would come up with something like this on the Warren Lahr was pushed in the end with that big brute over there, Glenn Davis.
Was there an argument after the game that, about a possible safety?
No, not really, no.
No.
But
We
all,
didn't
in all
want to throw any sour grapes.
Just through the tears.
in all seriousness, no, an official possibly could have called that a safety. It would have changed the outcome of the game, of course. Made a tie game out of it. It could have happened.
You keep referring to Cleveland. I don't think you like Cleveland very well.
Well, in
Otto.
Los Angeles, there was a safety.
Safety in Los Angeles. Otto, 68 yards to go, minute 45, left to play. You're behind. Did you feel you could take the club in?
Well, our football club, we always felt we could score. We felt we had good material. We felt we could do the things that we could do best. And they, of course, as has been pointed out here, did a great job of blocking from here. Fellas like Marion Motley, and they allowed me the time to throw the football. And fellas like Dante would get open, so he'd just throw the ball to him.
Kurt.
And the sideline pass, we knew they would be afraid to go for the six-pointer, so they would play a little bit loosely, and I would too if I were them. So consequently, we had enough time to go down to the field. We couldn't afford many mistakes. But we had enough time. We had to run the sideline passes because we didn't have enough time us left. And, of course, they gave it to us, and we, of course, did it.
Game's over. You signed off. Did you know that you had just done, or the feeling that you may have just done, probably one of the greatest games of all time, or would wind up to be one of the greatest games of all time?
I think so, Kurt. As you know, the whole game just built up into this fantastic crescendo. And when it was over, I think everyone, because it was Christmas Eve to begin with, and the total realization of all the work these fellows have been doing for so many years, and to go down there where, you know, where Paul Brown, for example, was standing on a chair, and he didn't even know what the score was. And he said, what difference does it make? We won the game. Lou was kissing his kicking shoe, and they were just, it was like a high school group of kids who had just won the city championship, and they were so delighted for each other.
A classic.
It sure was.
All I can say to this group is, Kurt, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Well, we want to thank the Los Angeles Rams, the Cleveland Browns, and Bob Neal, who called that famous game on radio and television. And so on Christmas Eve, 1950, two superb, evenly matched professional football teams etched their names in sports history. Commissioner Bert Bell called it the greatest football game he'd ever seen. And for their efforts that day, each of the champion Browns received $1,113.16, and the losing Rams each earned $686.44.
Slave wages.
And that's the way it was when the Browns beat the Rams for the 1950 NFL Championship.